Every Stranger Things power explained. 11's powers. 11's abilities form the backbone of Stranger Things' supernatural system, and the show wastes no time proving she isn't your average telekinetic. She's effectively a living psychic engine. Her primary power, telekinesis, is more than just move object from point A to point B. It operates like a pressure system. The stronger the emotion, the more force she can generate. That's why lifting a small toy drains her in early seasons, while flipping a van becomes almost casual once she's pushed into survival mode. Her telepathy works the same way. She can read thoughts directly or, more unsettlingly, push her presence into someone's mind, scanning for information like she's rummaging through a mental filing cabinet. She's also capable of remote viewing, known in the series as accessing the Void, a featureless psychic space where distance stops mattering. From there, she can observe conversations, track people, and even revisit memories as if walking through an invisible projection room. Her power deepens further through consciousness projection, where she can interact with past events. And by Season 5, her telekinesis evolves into super leaps, early hints at full flight. All of it ties back to one origin: MK Ultra experimentation on her mother, which left 11 born with amplified psychic potential. Henry Creel's powers. Henry Creel isn't just another Hawkins lab kid with a nosebleed problem, he's the prototype. His powers appear long before Brenner ever gets his hands on him, and unlike 11, Henry's baseline isn't gifted child, it's walking psychic catastrophe. His telekinesis is strong enough to kill without touching, which he demonstrates tragically as a child. Where 11 strains, Henry crushes, bones, walls, and at times the internal willpower of his victims. His telepathy is just as vicious. He doesn't simply read thoughts, he burrows into them, rearranging memories and emotions until the person is trapped inside a hallucination of their own mind. Once he becomes Vecna, this talent mutates into his signature ability: trauma-based illusion construction. He builds entire nightmare landscapes tailored to each victim, using their worst memories as raw material. Inside these illusions, the rules are his. Gravity bends, rooms distort, and time becomes subjective. Vecna also ascends into full hive-mind authority. He commands every creature tied to the Upside Down's network: Demogorgons, demodogs, vines, and even the Mind Flayer. The show eventually confirms he's the general pulling the strings all along. What makes Henry terrifying isn't just raw power, it's intentional power. 11 reacts emotionally, Vecna calculates, and that makes him the most dangerous psychic entity in the series. Will Byers' powers. Will Byers' abilities are the strangest in the series, mostly because he isn't a psychic in the traditional Hawkins lab sense. He's more like someone who accidentally left Bluetooth on and paired himself to the Upside Down. His powers begin as symptoms: chills down the neck, flashes of dread, and that eerie sense of he's here whenever Vecna stirs. But as the series progresses, those sensations evolve into something more functional: a two-way connection with the hive mind. Unlike 11 or Henry, Will doesn't create power, he channels it. Think of him as a living antenna. When he's physically close enough to the Upside Down's network, he can access Vecna's hive the way someone might latch onto a public Wi-Fi. That connection lets him sense emotions and intentions moving through the system, but in Season 5 it spikes dramatically. He briefly takes control of Demogorgons during a critical battle and even pushes back into Vecna's mind, disrupting the villain long enough to save his friends. It's important to note the limitation. Will's powers vanish the moment he's away from the hive's psychic signal. No hive, no boost. But when he is connected, Will becomes something the series has never really seen before: a human conduit to the Upside Down's most dangerous psychic force. Kali's powers. Kali Prasad's abilities make her the most visually deceptive of the Hawkins subjects. While 11 throws cars, Kali throws reality, or at least the perception of it. Her core power is illusion manipulation, which works by targeting the brain directly. Instead of projecting holograms into the air, Kali alters what a person's mind believes it's seeing. This makes her illusions absurdly convincing. Walls appear where none exist, entire rooms shift shape, and people seem to multiply or vanish. Because the illusion is happening inside the target's perception, physical cues don't break it. If Kali crafts the scene well, the brain cooperates. Her most advanced trick is self-camouflage. By bending the perception centered on her own body, she can make people look straight at her and not register her presence. It's essentially psychic invisibility, though it costs her significant focus and breaks easily under stress. What sets Kali apart from 11 and Henry is intent. 11's powers lean instinctual. Vecnas are predatory. Kali's are strategic. She uses illusions for escape, infiltration, and ambush, making her powers more oriented toward control than destruction. After escaping Hawkins' lab, she refines these abilities in the real world. Less structured training, more improvisation. Her power isn't physically overwhelming, but psychologically, it's one of the most dangerous in the series. Other Hawkins lab subjects. The rest of Dr. Brenner's test subjects sit in a strange place within Stranger Things lore, mostly unseen, occasionally referenced, and always implied to be ticking psychic time bombs. Brenner's entire project, Project MK Ultra, spun into Project Indigo, was built on the idea that Henry Creel's powers could be replicated. So every child in the program was essentially an attempted clone, shaped through sensory deprivation tanks, experimental drugs, and intense psychological conditioning before they could even speak. While we only meet Jane Hopper, 011, Callie, 008, and Henry, 001 directly, the series makes it clear there were many more. These children likely shared the same foundational psychic toolkit: light telekinesis, limited telepathy, and emotional amplification. Most of them never developed anything close to Henry's raw power or Eleven's range, but the fact that they possess any telekinetic ability at all puts them in the show's supernatural but unstable category. Several are seen briefly in flashbacks, some practicing object manipulation, others failing tasks that Eleven passes. A few expanded universe hints tease unique abilities. One subject, rumored to be 009, supposedly demonstrated electrical or necrotic effects. Though this remains unconfirmed on screen, the implication is clear: Brenner's experiments didn't produce uniform results. Instead, they created a spectrum of psychic anomalies, each child carrying a different fragment of Henry's original blueprint. The Mind Flayer's powers. The Mind Flayer operates on a completely different level from the human psychics. It isn't a person with abilities, it's a system with intentions. Think of it as a living supercomputer made of shadow, particles, and instinct. Its primary power is hive-mind telepathy, the ability to connect every creature, human or otherwise, into a single network. When it possesses someone, like Will or Billy, it doesn't just puppeteer their actions. It rewrites their emotional states, dulls their fear, and aligns their instincts with the Upside Down's agenda. You don't just follow its orders, you stop remembering what it felt like to disagree. It also manipulates the physical environment with unsettling precision. Vines, spores, tendrils, and particulate matter all move like extensions of its body. This allows the Upside Down to behave like a coordinated organism, walls react, fog shifts on cue, and tunnels expand or contract depending on its will. Although it appears massive and abstract, its power is expressed through the creatures it commands. The twist, of course, comes later. The show reveals the Mind Flayer isn't the architect of anything. It's a weapon, a shaped tool. Vecna molds it, directs it, and ultimately puppets its hive. The Mind Flayer may feel omnipotent, but its greatest power, its network, is exactly what lets Vecna take control. Demogorgons and demodogs' powers. Demogorgons don't have psychic powers like Eleven or Vecna, but what they do have is a frightening combination of biology and hive-linked instincts that makes them feel supernatural anyway. Their most obvious ability is brute strength. A single Demogorgon can tear through reinforced doors, flip grown adults with one swipe, and leap distances that would make Olympic athletes reconsider their career choices. Their durability matches that force. They heal fast, shrug off bullets, and only show real fear when exposed to extreme fire. Their senses operate like a predator from another ecosystem entirely. Sound, vibration, heat, they track prey by patterns humans don't even register. And once they lock onto a target, they move with an unnerving combination of speed and precision, almost like they're being piloted remotely. Which, in a way, they are. Thanks to the upside-down hive mind, Demogorgons aren't individual hunters. They're neurons in a larger brain. This is why they behave with synchronized purpose, why they don't fight each other, and why they stop when the hive is disrupted. Demodogs, the quadruped adolescent stage, share the same traits but move in packs with coordinated ambush strategies. Their power is simple but terrifying. Perfect predatory design tied into a shared consciousness that never sleeps, never hesitates, and never stops hunting. Power Rankings Tier List. Ranking the powers in Stranger Things isn't about who could win in a fistfight. It's about influence over reality, reach, and how much destruction they can cause without breaking a sweat. At the top sits Vecna, who combines human psychic abilities with total control over the Upside Down's hive network. He doesn't just throw objects, he can rewrite a person's perception, dismantle their mind, and command an entire dimension like it's his personal operating system. Second is 11, whose raw telekinesis almost equals Vecna's but lacks his hive-mind amplification. She can overwhelm monsters, open or close gates, and even break through psychic environments, but she doesn't have the networked advantage that lets Vecna operate at scale. Her power is enormous, just more localized. Third is Kali, whose illusions can mentally cripple an opponent without ever touching them. Her abilities don't affect reality itself, but they manipulate it convincingly enough to control battles before they start. Fourth is Will, whose power is situational but explosive when activated. He can hijack the Upside Down's own systems and momentarily turn Vecna's soldiers against him, but only when plugged into the hive. Then comes the Mind Flayer, powerful but fundamentally a puppet under Vecna's command. After that, physical threats like Demogorgons and the lesser lab kids fill out the bottom tiers with strength or minor psychic sparks, but nothing close to the top 4. Bonus analysis. The powers in Stranger Things all trace back to one root: psychic frequency. 11, Henry and Kali generate it internally, while Will and the creatures of the Upside Down tap into it externally. Henry's abilities resonate at the strongest signal, giving him control over the entire dimension's hive network. 11 matches his raw output but lacks network amplification, which is why their clashes feel evenly matched yet asymmetric. Kali's illusions operate on the brain's interpretive layer rather than physical reality, making her powers uniquely psychological. Will functions as a conduit. His abilities appear only when the hive's psychic field strengthens around him. Thanks for watching Explainer Reel, where we break big worlds into clear answers. If you want more deep dive breakdowns, power analyses, and hidden lore explanations, hit subscribe and drop your next topic below. There's always another mystery to unravel, and we'll be here to explain every piece of it.